Yes, you are.
Boo! It's kind of strange how the devs can go from saying one thing isn't broken, then renege almost half a year later and nerf the thing to the ground because we're off of balance, am I right?
Don't ask! I said don't ask! I said don't ask! No question!
Except Rifle has been busted for how long now?
Jesus Christ!
And we've had a stats revamp, a PvP revamp, and just last year a weapons pass. And did Rifle get fixed?
No.
But I'm supposed to believe that devs really prioritize balance. I mean, they released this game on a Nintendo Switch with PvP being as horrible as it is.
I said don't ask! No question!
But I guess that's my fault for talking about PvP related issues. Balance is much better on the PvE side.
Liar!
Moving on to the recent changes being made, Nature and Solar Amplifier are being quote unquote adjusted. Not feeling the increase of Nature supercharges going from a 25 to a 50%, especially when I feel like this is a change being made because of the interaction it has with an artifact.
I said don't ask! No question!
But Solar Amplifier is the foot that tripped the old lady down the steps. Apparently people have been talking about this for about a year, and as usual it fell on deaf ears, or in this case, crossed eyes. I actually looked and couldn't find whether or not this has been talked about for a year. Only post I found talking about Solar Amp's damage was back in June. Sadly, the highest I've gotten my Solar Amp artifact up to is rank 59 because I'm only using it on my alt since my main is purely precision.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
It's really sad that I have to say my solar artifact isn't even leveled because you get people who say, "You're crying, you're depressed over a nerf." Even though I'm all for bug fixes. Although if I can be honest, I don't ever see balance come into this game. I mean, we're talking about a game that's 10 years old, where the focus is going to a new game. Not only that, but after 10 years, you'd think the problems would be about engagement or how to repopulate older content. But we over here trying to figure out DPS for the umpteenth time. Top that off, they are screwing themselves over by adding artifacts to the game because in the quest for more money... I mean, in the quest to add variety and a time sink into the game, they created areas for a lot of imbalance to take root. But I swear y'all on the forums seem to think the absolute worst of the community. Then again, so do I. But some of the replies left me scratching my head. Let's look at some examples. If they leveled it just because of broken splitting damage, then that is completely on them, and they were chasing a bug rather than leveling it for legitimate means. I mean, cool. Those who decided to chase get egg on their faces, but not everybody leveled this with malicious intent. Sometimes word of mouth goes a long way. Have y'all never seen someone type "what's a great artifact to level" in shout chat? If the player did not read the description of the artifact and chose to level it up because the damage was not splitting properly, then that's their problem. This is a corrected error, not a nerf.
What?
What?
What? What?
Nani?
What in the world would the description tell people about split damage? People barely form their own loadouts nowadays. They either get a friend or watch a video. You know what? Matter of fact, scratch that. You can't even get people to watch a video. I directed someone to a power guide, and would you believe they had the nerve to say, it's an hour-long video. Why does Obsidian make long tutorials? Really? It's so many people who play this game with undiagnosed ADD, and you expect them to have knowledge of split damage? There's a reason I call this a helmet community. Wait. So some of you were saying that people invested all that time and effort into leveling a solar amp to level 200 without knowing that the burst damage at the end didn't split properly? Seriously? People spent that much money and resources to this without doing some research? That is really, really hard to believe. Research. In DC Universe. Really? I can tell y'all don't pug.
Word is born, don't funk with the punk, with the punk, with the punk, with the punk, with the punk.
What you are currently witnessing is a tank in the middle of the group. You know, all the time, I can't record, somebody start calling. What you're currently witnessing is a tank in the middle of the group with hand blasters during the vulnerable Purse beam attack. Did I mention he was fire and had to have DPS gear and only one shield? This here is our group trove of the day, and you might have noticed several things wrong in this clip. 1, he has a full bar of power. 2, he's not even helping in this boss fight. And 3, the hill has aggro. Now why is that? Well, we had a DPS Q and Tickety took both roles, and the game assumed he was ready to tank. He was not ready to tank at all. You are now seeing another tank who decided this fight was too difficult in event mode, and decided to take flight in the middle of the fight. I might have forgot to mention that this is the event version of this raid. Again, we have a DPS who decided to queue as a tank and not have any outs of gear, and on top of that be too weak for this raid. But that's half the issue. Her health has been low for a good 10 seconds and the healer has yet to use a power. Matter of fact, his power bar is full. Regardless if the player is squishy, if a teammate is dying, the healer's response shouldn't be.
Well, you know, healing come by
Do
faith.
it now,
Healing
but I
come
would
by
like to know
faith.
when you're gonna do it.
Well, healing come by faith.
So yeah, about players doing research, if you bought a car with the salesman's briefcase still in it, and he showed up at your house to get it, and you screamed at him at the top of your lungs like you were doing now, that this salesman is shady, and it's a bait and switch because you bought a car with a briefcase in it, and how dare that dealership mean for the briefcase not to be in the car, right? Because the situation makes perfect sense, am I right? Good lord, this comment. Okay, so yes, if I bought a car and a sales guy left his bag in the back seat and discovered it before I left the lot, then yeah, it would make perfect sense for me to give him back his bag. Even if I made it all the way home and he came by in a day, a week, a month, shoot, even a couple of months, then yes, I would be obligated to return his bag. But let's apply the current scenario. Instead of a week, a month, or even a few months, but darn near a year. And during this year, I've reached out a couple of times and got no answer. And after a while, I'm gonna just get rid of the bag, because I'm gonna assume it doesn't mean anything to you, or that you intended for, or you just didn't care. However, if you pull up 7 months to a year later talking about, "What up, my nigga?" I'ma look right back at you like,
no.
I understand the point you were making, but here's the thing. That scenario only works when we're talking about a short amount of time. So yes, you are right. It is not a bait and switch, but it is negligence. Also, I really want to make sure y'all understand this point. I don't think any of you were stupid. Should you recognize your comments with the names hidden? I just find it crazy that y'all are confused by others being confused. I mean, it's not like this just showed up last week and the devs hopped on it. We're talking about months, possibly a year later. Transparency and better forum observation would go a long way, because this bug has been around for too long for the excuse to be, well, we just found out about this. That's unacceptable. Even if they couldn't fix it immediately, putting the community on notice that they were going to adjust this artifact in the near future would be much better than pulling up out of the blue after everyone got cool with it and said, now we fix it.